Wishlist. My name is Lydia.
And this is Kenny G.
And today we're going to be talking about our top 20 picks for the PlayStation Classic. Because I don't know, we don't have a whole list yet of what is actually going to be delivered to us come December. So this is like our dream team draft.
Yes, this is if anything a wish list of the games featured. In fact,
suggestion, Sony.
yeah, there is of course no way this list will come true, not without homebrew involved. But this is our dream list, booting out some of the titles they've already announced.
True.
So without further ado, let's just jump into the list because that's what everyone's interested in, right?
Yes. Number 1. Final Fantasy VII, obviously, is like the cult classic, major hit for the PlayStation 1. So this one actually is confirmed to be released on the PS1 Classic. So we're good.
Yes, so it's thankfully this one is included.
Yes.
And it is basically mandatory. This is the cult classic for the PS1.
Right.
That is basically on everything now, and so many people love this game.
Oh yeah.
It was truly a defining game of its time, and it still holds up even now.
Yeah.
So
fabulous. Cloud, Sephiroth, Tifa, the whole gang. I'm sure everybody knows.
Many memorable characters.
Yeah. If you don't know what Final Fantasy VII is, Google it. It's awesome. You'll love it. Okay, number 2.
You're really gonna do the explosions?
Yes. Final Fantasy VIII.
Yes.
Okay.
This one I loved. It's a bit of a controversial pick because a lot of people don't like Final Fantasy VIII.
This is the one with Squall, right?
This is the one with Squall, Renoa, and
cute.
the gang, and it's a love story.
Yeah.
It's the game.
Why don't people like it?
A lot of people didn't like it because it focuses on a love story, and 2, its battle system was a little controversial for the time. But in my personal opinion, it is a great game.
I liked it.
Yes.
It was cute.
So let's
2
move
thumbs
on.
up. Number 3, Final Fantasy IX.
So Final Fantasy IX follows the adventures of Zidane and Dagger, or Princess Garnet, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
And it is widely
They're like
considered
chibis? Like this one weirds me out. I don't really get it.
You don't get it?
No, and then
It's
mom is like has a blue face. Didn't really get that either.
Yeah, you have to play the game.
Well, okay, fair enough. Okay.
Okay, I beat the game.
And you liked it?
And it was fantastic. The graphics are considered to this day pushing the limits of the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, they were good
They're
graphics.
very impressive artwork. It is kind of chibi style, and it takes Final Fantasy back to its roots. It goes back to the original White Mage, Black Mage, fighters, that type of stuff. Because Final Fantasy 7 and 8 took place more in like a futuristic settings.
Right.
Whereas 9 goes back to its roots of like more of a medieval fantasy setting.
Right.
With flying boats.
Yeah. All right. Number 4.
So number 4 is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes.
An amazing strategy game that has been ported to, I think, the Game Boy Advanced.
Ooh.
And you can get it on the PSN. It's a great strategy game. It has some cameos. It has Ares and what is that? Cloud. They both cameo in the game, and it's a great, very in-depth strategy game.
Almost like kind of like chess.
It's almost like chess. It's a little bit.
Not like obviously actually like chess, but it's just like like you said, strategy.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's a tactical strategy game, and a lot of people wish they were still making games like this. They don't really make games like this anymore.
No. Now it's like quick action kind of stuff.
There's not many tactical strategy games on consoles.
Yeah, agreed.
At all.
Agreed.
And this one was incredible, and not many more came after it
that were similar. Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah.
So moving on.
Number 5. Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2.
So who does this follow?
This is the adventures of Leon and Claire as they go through the RPD and down into the, what is that called? The Hive, the Umbrella headquarters, right? And it's widely considered the best of the Resident Evil trilogy on the original PlayStation. And it's actually being remade right now. Right? It's gonna be released probably the remake. I mean next year. But Resident Evil 2 is widely considered the greatest Resident Evil title to date.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if any Resident Evil title is featured, it should be this one.
Yes, definitely. Is this the one with the guy with like the hearts on the outside and he's like
No, that's the first one.
Okay.
That's the Tyrant.
Is this the one where they're in the police station?
Yes.
Ah! Yes! Okay, got it. Okay, I know which one it is. Very exciting. You'll love it.
You're gonna love it.
Number 6.
It's tremendous.
Gran Turismo 2.
Yes, so of course we have to include at least one racer title.
Yes.
In our top 20 games.
Right.
And there is no better racing game on the PS1. I was about to say PS2, but for the PS1, there is no better racing game than Gran Turismo 2. There is a wide spread of different cars you can select. I think there's like a couple hundred. The graphics were impressive for the time, although now looking at it, they're janky.
Yeah.
But features a lot of cars, like a lot of Japanese cars that are very popular in the import scene here in North America, including the Supras, the RX-7s, the AE86 is there, did I say Impreza already?
Yes. It's very impressive.
As well as domestic cars as well, American domestic cars.
Yeah.
As well as there's rally racing, there's track racing and licensing, and there's an arcade mode, and it's a very expansive game. And for its time, it was really impressive. This one, I do believe, may actually appear on the console.
Yeah?
Yeah, although it hasn't been confirmed, I believe this one will appear on the actual Classic.
Okay.
So moving on.
Wait. If I may make a point. I liked Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer!
And I know that's being definitely released on the Classic.
It is.
But the only reason, and I know this is very shallow, the only reason why I liked Ridge Racer was because you could stop the game midway through and put in your own favorite music CDs and you could race to your favorite music.
I remember that
that
feature.
was obviously that's not around now, but like that, I think that was the only reason why I really liked Ridge Racer. But obviously Gran Turismo is better racing.
It's a
game.
much more in-depth racing title.
Yes, definitely. Sorry, I just wanted to add my little jaunt in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 7, Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
Kenny's absolutely favorite franchise in the world.
Yes, it's definitely up there. It's definitely among my favorite franchises, games of all time. Mm-hmm. Metal Gear Solid. This is the one that really... This game, for me personally, and everyone has, their own choice, but for me personally, this is the game that made me change the way I enjoyed games. Like, this is the game that was like, whoa, this is like a movie in a game, and I am the actor. I'm the action star in this movie.
It's very story-based.
It's heavily story-based, but I mean, Final Fantasy is story-based too.
True,
but this one really, with the extremely well-done voice acting and the camera work, even though it's polygonal, old polygons, the camera work is fantastic. The action scenes are fantastic. Everything about this game is top notch.
Yes.
So I won't even give any spoilers away, but it is absolutely an amazing game and should be on the PlayStation Classic.
Yes. And if I may note, this game is actually very important to our relationship well. It was the very first present Kenny ever gave me was a copy of Metal Gear Solid. It was the first game I ever actually beat. And it just like, and like, I was just like, oh my god, this guy is so cute. I want to like talk to him and have something in common.
I'm kidding.
No, but it's serious. Like, I feel like Metal Gear Solid is like a special place in our relationship, and it just, it's a wonderful story, and it's, I feel like we really bonded, especially over Metal Gear Solid 3, which is obviously not on this console, it's a different one. That was awesome to play with you.
Yes.
Okay.
They were all great games.
Yes.
Except for 5.
Okay, moving along. Number 8, Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. So that could be 1, 2, or 3. I mean, 3 is probably the best one. But we needed a platformer on our list, and this is probably one of the better platformers of the time. And I think anyone who was around in the 90s probably remembers those commercials where Crash Bandicoots walk around with the megaphone yelling at Nintendo and stuff. Yeah.
You know what? Like, I always thought like he was very like rude. But like the older I got, like I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of funny.
They're funny commercials, but for me personally, it was never one of like my favorite games. I always liked Mario 64 more than Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
But Crash Bandicoot's still a good game.
Yeah, I think.
You know, it was a great memory of Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
When you play it inside Uncharted 4.
Yes, I was just about to mention that. Yes, I think that's what made me like it again, because like I'm like, oh, it's so like retro.
And like your wife is like ribbing you as you're playing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That was so sweet. Oh my god, that really like.
That was like a little nostalgia bomb there.
So cute.
So moving on.
Yes, number 9. Tomb Raider 2, Lara Croft and her pixely titties. Let's talk about them.
Yes, well, Tomb Raider 1 was a good game, but Tomb Raider 2 obviously upped the ante in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And,
is this the one where she wore glasses, or is that the first one?
I'm pretty sure she wears glasses in a lot of them.
Oh, okay, never mind. Damn.
But you got to get some Lara Croft tomb raiding action in there.
Yeah.
This was before...
it turned like dark and ridiculous.
Turned into like this dark, gritty murder simulator.
That was awful.
Like that's the current stuff. Yeah. Is like the murder simulators, right? This is the earlier Tomb Raider where it was actually about tomb raiding. Yes, right? A little bit more like. And nicer. You get attacked by animals and stuff. And yes, there are other people, but it was just more.
Lighthearted.
It was like it was more platformer, and exploration and stuff like that. Well, with obviously action in it as well, but it wasn't just like Lara Croft, the murder simulator.
Yeah. I'm not digging where the franchise has gone.
No, me neither.
Sad and scary. All right, moving on. Number 10, Castlevania: Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night. So this is considered the transition game from the older Castlevania games where they were like standard side scrollers to like a Metroidvania, as they call it, right? Ooh. Which is more of like an exploratory type game. And on top of that, this is considered one of the best Castlevania games ever made. Actually, it is considered the best Castlevania game ever made.
Like even my brother goes on about how great it is.
If you ask anyone what is the best Castlevania game, they'll tell you this is it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt that this is the best one, and this should be on the console. This one in particular, along with Tomb Raider, should be on the console. Well, even for that matter, Crash Bandicoot too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I don't really know what else to say other than this should be on here. It has to be on there.
And if it's not, it'll be disappointing. All right, number 11, Rhapsody. So this was not a very popular title, but like it's very rare now, right?
It's very rare.
Super rare, and we have a copy. Hooray! So essentially what this one was about was like you are a female protagonist, and the prince gets captured and turned to stone, and then you have to save him. And essentially it is like a tactical game. With like puppets and like music and stuff like that, and it was really cool. Like she was, to me, like a very feminist icon back in the day, and I was just like, this is so inspirational. You know, it's not like the girl crying for help. It's like she's rescuing him, and I was like, oh my god, this is like I don't know, it was just
It's ahead of its time in a lot of ways, wasn't it?
It really was,
Yeah.
and especially like now, like, you know, with like the there's a lot of like, you know, like fight for equality and fight for you know, women to be more in the forefront of gaming. I feel like this would be more relevant now than ever because it was a female hero, and like it really
And she
like,
wasn't sexualized either,
not
like
at all. No.
Laura Croft.
Right. Like it was very lighthearted, very cutesy, and it was just a lot of fun to play. So like it would be nice if they had it on here. I don't think they will.
No, there's almost no chance of this one appearing on it, but it is an impressive game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we mentioned, but it's a role-playing game.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's an RPG battle system.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on, we've got
Number 12.
Xenogears, whatever you want to call it. This one is like it's a bit strange. A little history on it. This game originally started as a pitch for Final Fantasy VII, but was passed over in favor of what eventually became Final Fantasy VII. So this is another SquareSoft game. And this one is more of like it's a really interesting combat system with a really long, detailed story. I don't really want to get into spoilers, but it's really interesting. There's like hand-to-hand combat, like traditional RPGs, but then there's also mecha combat.
Ooh.
So you get into like your giant mechs and you battle out with other mechs, and there's some really interesting action sequences. I don't know what else to say other than it's a really good game, and I've been saying that about every game here, but we kind of cherry picked the really good ones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's move on.
Number 15, Parappa the Rapper.
Kick punch.
All in the mind. Oh, so good. This was I thought pretty epic as well, just because like it was a music game, right?
Yes.
So like it was very different. It wasn't a fighting game. It was a rhythm game.
It was
right?
for me. It was the first rhythm game I played.
And the graphics were like 2D, but they were like
paper cutouts.
Yeah, it was amazing, and like the colors were so bright and vibrant. The sounds were so like it was just like
the music was very catchy too.
So catchy, and like every level had like a different like person, but then they all kind of wound together into like one cohesive story, and it was wicked.
Now you had this.
I had this on the PSP as well.
PSP and the PS1.
Yes, I did. Yes. So it's a lot of fun to play. There have been like sequels like on Jammy Lammy, but Parappa is kind of like the OG classic. So it's a fun game, and I would definitely recommend you play it. Don't know if it'll be on the PlayStation.
It might be, because I think this one might be by Sony.
Ooh.
I could be wrong though. It might be by Natsume or something.
All right.
But I hope it's on there.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. We'll shall see. Okay, number 14, Bust a Groove.
So I never played Bust a Groove, so you're gonna have to take this one.
Yes, no, definitely. Bust a Groove again is similar to Parappa, where it's a rhythm game, and it's similar to like if you play like Britney's Dance Beat, where like like you have to like hit buttons in musical sequence. But like the thing that was really extraordinary about this game is that its soundtrack was bomb, like absolutely like bomb. I went to like a dance class in Brantford, and this guy who opened the studio was actually inspired to buy this video game, and I was just like, what? Like it was just like crazy. So anyways, it's so hard to find. If you find
expensive.
It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculously expensive. So I mean, I'm kind of like on my brother for trading it in back in the day, but whatever, it happened. If I ever came across this game, I would like snatch it up in an instant, because it was amazing, and like the music like still stands the test of time.
Was it like licensed music, or was it like their own music?
It was their own music they made for the game.
Oh, okay.
Right? So playing it in game was awesome, but then also buying the soundtrack was like even better. So I would love if it was on there, but probably Because like sometimes I wonder like, do they put like on the console? Are they just going to put like their most popular ones, or are they going to put obscure things too? Right? It's like
that's a good question.
they're probably just going to put their best sellers so that they can sell the merch, you know, so they can push their wares.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
They could also try to do 50-50. That way they can release a second PlayStation Classic. Right?
True. Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of predict. Anyway, sorry. Number 15. Is it Suikoden or Suikoden?
I'll take it. It's
Okay.
Suikoden 2.
Thank you.
Which is it's another tactical RPG. It's not like Final Fantasy Tactics really. It's more of like a standard RPG, but has this interesting story that's like a battle between kingdoms. Ooh. And some of the combat is like standard RPG combat, but some of the combat is like army versus army.
Oh.
So you can have armies fighting each other, and then you can have like the leaders within the army have a showdown.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can have like important characters that if they die, they're out of the story.
Oh.
Right? So you got to make smart decisions. Like, do you want to leave the captain behind to duel the other, captain one-on-one, or you want to help him escape and stuff like that? Like, that's not really a spoiler or anything, but it's a good game. It's by Konami, who didn't really put out a lot of RPGs, but this one is really good.
All right, number 16, Parasite Eve.
So this is a good one. It's another SquareSoft game. It's another RPG. Our list is stacked with RPGs.
Yeah.
But this one is you play. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. This sexy blonde lady with a pistol, and it takes place in present time, and it's about like getting infected with a parasite and being able to use on Eve. I wonder if it does take place on some kind of Eve, like Christmas Eve or something. It might. But it's a very cool game, and like you get infected with this virus, and then that allows you to cast spells, and then it has a really creepy ending.
Ooh,
but
no spoilers.
Yeah. Great game. It's an RPG, but it's like an action RPG, and it's set in modern day. So I think it's set in tongue-tied. Set in Manhattan.
Oh.
No Tokyo.
I know where that is.
I know where that is.
All right, number 17, Bust a Move. Okay, different than Bust a Groove. Totally different.
Yes.
So Bust a Move is the two little dinosaurs from Bubble Bobble. They are here again, except this is a puzzle game. So it's like they're little like colored spheres, and like you each have
you
your
have to
own
match
screen.
up the spheres. This was a very popular puzzle game.
Awesome.
It was insanely popular back in the day.
Yes.
I remember it being huge at the arcades.
Yes.
And I remember it also being like for like a personal story. I remember it being at the local pizza shop, and people would line up to play this.
Yeah.
Like on. Like near my high school, right?
Yeah.
So on our lunch break, we'd go over and people would be lined up to play Bust a... What is it called? Bust a Move?
Yes.
Bust a Move, yeah.
Bust a Move, yeah.
I always forget the name of it. I always think it's Bubble Bobble, but it's Bust a Move.
No, it's not. It's the dinosaurs from Bubble Bobble. That's why it's confusing. My sister loved this game. And like my sister's not a gamer at all. And like this is like the only game we could play together because she's like distracted. She's like, oh, it's a puzzle game. It's not a video game. So I'm like, yeah. Come play with me, Chinza. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, number 18, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
So this one is probably not gonna show up on the console because it's got all licensed music.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right.
It has fantastic gameplay. That oh my God, the gameplay is so great. I'm not even a skater fan, really. But the gameplay is so smooth, and the way you go off half pipes and you can just jam buttons to do crazy tricks in the air and land and then move into like a grind on some poles and stuff. Very, very fun gameplay. Not very
responsive. Like
yeah, the controls are very responsive. This is a hugely popular game on the PlayStation 1. Not very likely to show up though, but we can always hope.
Yeah, it's mostly because of red tape, which sucks, but oh well. All right, number 19, Darkstalkers. Woo!
Sexy fighting.
So, oh my goodness.
Morgana.
Yes.
What's the other one's name?
The one with the short purple hair. Sorry, Morgan, not Morgana. Morgana's from
Oh, sorry.
That's her persona. Yeah, Morgan, and I think, I can't remember her name. But anyways, sexy as hell. I remember that. And I was just like, what?
Very well animated as well.
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
It's a fighting game. We need a fighter.
Felicia was the one I always picked. She was the cat lady.
Yes,
She was
yes,
awesome. Yes.
So,
Sorry.
very well animated.
Yes.
Plays really good.
Yes.
And it's a fighting game, like
Yes.
like Street Fighter.
Right.
But very unique in its
Anime style.
It's
Yes.
very anime inspired. Yes.
Yeah. No, and it's like very dark, and they have like werewolf people, and like I don't know. It was like more like kind of like monsterish based, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But and they even had like comic books and stuff like that, and like it was really good, and like you said, very well animated, very well drawn. Lots of fun. Definitely play that one. Okay, and we've come to the end of our draft pick. Number 20, Street Fighter Alpha 3.
So
Yes.
this is the best version of Street Fighter Alpha
Yes.
that you can get, right?
Yeah.
And it has a ton of characters. This
Yes.
is like with the whole expanded roster.
Yes.
As well as it's just a great fighting game, right? So we decided to include a couple of fighting games on the list, and this is definitely one of the best fighting games you can get.
Yeah.
Of course, there's other fighting games out there like Tekken.
But they're not as good.
But or Mortal Kombat. Actually, I'm not sure if Mortal Kombat appeared. No, it definitely appeared on the PlayStation. But
Fatality.
Street Fighter is just a better title than those games.
Chun-Li, hello.
Oh, what about Cammy? Mamma mia!
I always picked Vega. I always thought he was like weird and like he made that sound. He was my favorite. Okay, we're gonna add a couple like bonuses that we would like to see that we probably won't see.
So yeah, let me take the first one
Yes,
here.
definitely.
These are yeah, like you said, bonus games that we almost for sure will not see.
Yeah.
But
Wouldn't it be great?
wouldn't it be great? So number 21, Snatcher. Now this game came out in Japan on the PlayStation 1.
Aww.
It is slightly censored compared to the Sega CD version, but it would be great to get a modern version of this game, considering that there hasn't been an edition of Snatcher that's come to American soil since, what was that, 1995 or something?
So, yeah.
93?
Sega
The Sega
Saturn?
CD.
The Sega CD, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
What's Snatcher about?
Bioroid robots stealing people's identities, and you play as a detective named Gillian, and your job is to track down these snatchers and take them out. It's sort of a combination of Terminator with Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So what is that called? Neopunk? Steam? No, it's not. Something
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
It's a cyberpunk game.
Yes.
And it's very much Blade Runner. It's very much Blade Runner with just hints of Terminator.
That's good.
And it's heavily inspired by Blade Runner, yeah.
Who made it?
Only one of the greatest game creators of all time, Hideo Kojima.
Yay! He's lovely. This was like back when like he first started out too, so it was like really well thought out and in depth.
Yes. Before he got obsessed with celebrities like Norman Reedus and you know, whoever else.
No kidding. All right, what is the second bonus title?
Okay, so this one is also a Hideo Kojima game, Police Knots. Now this one has actually already been translated. Unlike Snatcher for the PS1, there is no existing translated version. Whereas Police Knots, there is an existing translation patch for the PS1
Was
game.
that fan-made though?
Yeah, but they could easily license that.
True.
Right? And bring this game to North American soil for the first time ever. This one is it plays in the same way as Snatcher. It's a text-based adventure, text point-and-click type adventure, but it takes everything up a notch. It's more based on Lethal Weapon, combined with like a space adventure. You know, that's essentially it. You're police in space, right?
Yeah.
And it's very anime-ish. The soundtrack is absolutely stellar, and in typical Hideo Kojima fashion, the story is awesome.
Yes, with lots of twists and turns.
Yes, exactly. There are several twists I did not see coming.
Man, we're not gonna spoil it for you, but just go play that game.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And like I said, these are not very likely to appear.
No.
But Sony would be like killing it if they brought these.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, I think before we conclude, we need to have some honorable mentions that we didn't mention. Just because these are great games too, but again, probably likely not to be on there.
Yeah. A lot. The thing is, the PlayStation has a stellar catalog of games. There's so many. Like, we haven't even got into half of them. Like, we only have 25, including the or whatever, a few over 25, including the bonuses and the honorable mentions. And that's not even half of the amazing games. There's so many great games and so many like hidden gems.
Yes, absolutely.
So, for honorable mentions, number 1 would be Chrono Cross, the sequel to Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
Very controversial game because it did not, in a lot of ways, live up to the amazing story of Chrono Trigger. The characters are not... There's too many characters, but the story is still very interesting. It's just a lot of people were disappointed because they were hoping a follow-up to Chrono Trigger, and this wasn't really it. It only gives you hints of Chrono Trigger, like mentions the characters' names in passing, but you don't really get much more than that. But the soundtrack in this game will blow your mind.
Ooh.
I mean, do you remember the opening soundtrack? No?
Wait, is it? That's Final Fantasy, isn't it? Oh god, okay.
That's Final Fantasy VI.
No! Okay, what was this one?
It's like he's on the ship, right? I think your brother made a music video with this, and he's on the ship, and it's like sailing out.
Oh,
and it's like this really killer song. There's so many good songs.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, number 2 for honorable mentions, Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah, okay, so this is another RPG. We've got a lot of RPGs on our list.
Can you tell we like RPGs?
Yeah.
Twas the style at the time.
It was, yeah.
You know. Okay, sorry, continue with Valkyrie Profile.
But this is like, well, you play a Valkyrie, and it's a lot of like angels, humans versus gods type stuff. It's really interesting. It's like Greek mythology type stuff.
Oh.
Right? So woven into like a JRPG. So it's very interesting. I doubt it'll appear.
No, however.
But it's a really good game. So let's move on to
Number 3, Resident Evil 1. Yes, in the mansion. Yes.
Yes, with the dogs jumping through the windows.
So scary.
And the Jill sandwich.
So spooky. Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Barry, where's Barry?
Jill sandwich.
Jill sandwich.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Resident Evil 1. I mean,
Yeah, I think like
G classic.
it is a classic, and I think it should appear
Yeah.
on the PlayStation Classic, but if they can only get one Resident Evil 2 is a better game.
Agreed, definitely. Okay, number 4, Silent Hill.
So spooky, scary. I don't know what else to really say. It's a
Foggy.
very foggy. It's a great horror game.
Yeah.
For the PS1.
Yeah.
It probably won't appear either, but we can cross our fingers.
Definitely. All right, number 5, Twisted Metal.
So do you know this one?
This had a clown and like I remember like
It's like a demolition derby
meets like Mad Max kind of thing.
Yeah. That's a good analogy for it, actually.
Thank you.
Cars with guns shooting at each other, and like I think the clown is driving an ice cream truck with like a missile launcher on it or something.
Yeah. I just remember like that the clown was like the major selling point.
He was on the cover.
Yeah. You're just like, stupid clown. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Did you like that game though?
Particularly, no, but I know it's very popular.
True, agreed. All right, number 6 for honorable mentions, Ape Escape. Yes, love this game. So cute,
Gotcha.
So much fun. It's like the bubbly, not really bubbly, cartoony apes, and then like you
have to go around and catch them.
Oh no, right.
You're thinking of
Super Monkey Ball.
Banana Blitz.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. Sorry. This is the one where you have like the nets and you have to like jump around and catch them, right?
Yes,
yeah, that was.
This is the one we got introduced to this game via Metal Gear Solid 3. But then after that, we went back and played the older ones.
And we bought it, and we're like, this is so much fun!
Yeah, and it was a good game. It is a really fun game. This one may appear.
Hopefully. I feel like it would appeal to like the kids.
Yeah, it's a kid-friendly game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to our final honorable mention. Mega Man Legends 2. So this is sort of not really RPG-ish, but it's sort of RPG-ish.
Kind of?
It's not like a normal Mega Man game.
Oh.
It's like a behind third-person type Mega Man game. It's highly desired in the community. It's very expensive. I think it sells for over $100. So it's very popular, very expensive, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it on the PlayStation Mini to get a chance to play the game. Yeah, so now there's some hang-ups to do with it. Like I think there's some weird licensing issue where there's vending machines that had like what is it? Like real life Japanese beverages were featured on these vending machines.
Oh no.
But
I know.
they're like, hey, you don't have the right to use our images anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that was holding it up from being released on the PlayStation Store for a long time.
Boo.
But hopefully, I think they solved that, But hopefully this is one we will see because there's a lot of fans of Mega Man Legends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all for our list. Like I said before, this isn't even...
Scratching the surface.
Scratching the surface of the amazing list of titles that the PlayStation has to offer.
Mm-hmm. Let us know in the comments what you think and if we forgot anything super major. Because I mean, we'd love to chat because gaming is what we do and what we love.
What about like Diablo, right?
Yeah.
Diablo, it came out for PlayStation 1. Or what about like Fear Effect? Fear Effect with the lesbians in the elevator.
Woo!
Or like Final Fantasy Chronicles, which had Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger paired together. Or Final Fantasy, I think the other one's called Anthologies, and it has Final Fantasy VI with Terra. And an unreleased game, Final Fantasy, I think, V, which was never released. Until the Anthology collection. So there's tons and tons of amazing games, or Grand Theft Auto, or Grand Theft Auto UK edition. And there are so many great games that.
So how do you limit it to 20? Right?
How do you limit it to 20? Yeah, really.
Yeah,
right?
so
Well, you don't know Jack?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so many great games, and we're only getting 20s. And
Yeah.
this is our dream list.
Yeah.
My guess is that the real list will contain
Probably more disappointment.
50% filler,
Yeah.
maybe 70% filler, and maybe they'll get Metal Gear Solid. They probably are only gonna have Final Fantasy VII, not 8 or 9. I think they should definitely push for 9. They might have Resident Evil 1 on there, right? But
Time will tell. 'Cause
Time will tell.
We're just guessing at this. We have no
this is
insider knowledge.
completely guessing. But to wrap it up, PlayStation has an amazing catalog, and why is it not on the PSN store?
I know. Come on, guys.
Come on!
Anyways, so thank you so much for listening with us. If you like what you see, please hit the like button, smash that subscribe, give us a share, and we also have a Twitter, _dorkalicious. And thank you so much for sitting through. This is a little bit longer than usual, but we definitely had to list our favorites because it's something near and dear to our hearts. So this has been Lydia.
And Kenny G.
It's been fun dorking out with you. Bye!
Bye.